Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the replay. Nicole Vincent here. I'm so excited that you are taking a little bit of time out of your day. I can't talk this morning, to spend with me and learn more about taking care of yourself in a holistic way. Today, we're going to be talking about using essential oils for helping our emotional well-being. And this is something that I'm super, super passionate about, and something that to me has become so second nature that I almost don't even think about it anymore. And so I know I don't think I've had a specific video on just using oils for your emotional well-being, but hopefully this will help you. I took a list, which I already have lost. There we go. I took a list of what you guys wanted to hear about, so hopefully I will be able to address all of those and give you guys a few tips and tricks and help you feel a little bit more confident in using your essential oils. If you see this lovely thing on my forehead, I burnt myself with some grease yesterday trying to cook my family dinner, and that's why I don't cook. So now I have a giant grease burn on my forehead. Thank goodness for lavender and serenity. So without further ado, let's dig in. Now, first off, I want to show you my favorite tool for this topic, and I know I've shared this several times. It's called Emotions and Essential Oils, and it's by a group called Enlightened Healing. And it's brand neutral, so it doesn't matter what brand of essential oils you use, it will work for those. It has a bunch of single oils and a bunch of blends, and it really tells you the emotional properties and personalities of each of these oils and how they can help you find emotional balance, stability, and support in your life. So I could talk for hours and hours, so I'm going to give you the super condensed CliffsNote version of using essential oils for your emotional well-being. The first and best tip I'm going to give you, take the lid off and smell it. That is what's going to create the fastest emotional shift in you. The reason for this is because our olfactory bulb, our olfactory nerve, which is our smelling sense there, is directly connected to our amygdala, which is our emotion center in our brain. And so as we smell things, we have an emotional reaction. Whether you're feeling that emotional reaction or not can vary based on the emotion, based on where you're at, and just based on what's going on around you. But it is having an emotional reaction, whether you are aware of it or not, whether you even know it's happening or not, even whether you're using oils for that or not. And I know that this is true. When I was introduced to oils, I had no idea that they had emotional properties, and I was just using them for my physical problems. And I will tell you that for most of my life, I've been in a state of numb. That was my coping mechanism, was to be numb so that I wouldn't feel the pain of things that I had gone through, depression that I struggled with. And so I was just kind of flatlined, right? I was just flatlined and emotionally. And as I started using these oils, I was able to start feeling again. And it was very, very weird because I hadn't really felt in about 20 years. And as I started emotionally waking up, I knew that there was something kind of beyond my understanding happening, more than just the physical healing that happens with these oils. And I started to learn more about the emotional properties and the emotional healing that these essential oils offer. And it just opened up a whole new world and has led me to where I am today. And so even if you're not super on board with this, or maybe you're not using oils for healing, be open to it. They are powerful workers. They're not going to do the work for you. So if you have trauma, if you have emotional issues in your past, guess what? You're not going to slap an oil on and it's going to disappear and not be there. But it can definitely help. I really like to couple it with other techniques. So in what I do, I couple it with emotion code. I couple it with tapping, with affirmations. So it's a partner typically in this emotional work. So that's kind of how the oils are going to work. Now let's get into that you can use them in your life. Now, the first and easiest way, and we've talked about this, muscle test. So going through today, I went through, where is it? Of course, I pulled it out and now I have lost it already. There it is. Okay. So I went to my oil drawer and And I just tested, and if muscle testing, if you're like, what the heck is she doing? It's muscle testing. Go back and watch my other videos. But I just muscle test what oil would I benefit from the most on an emotional level. Okay? See what so I kind of gave it its thing, and I got white fur. So we're going to use that as an example today to help you understand how you might do this. If you're not proficient at muscle testing yet, that is totally fine. You can just go over your oils and just kind of look at them and see if any of them just kind of pop out at you. Sometimes they will. Sometimes people will kind of just kind of run their hand over their top of their oils, and if it gets tingly or if it gets hot or it kind of goes down towards an oil, you can do that too. But just however the oils, quote unquote, call to you, that can be a good place to start. I have also found that this is a great, that identifying the oils that I need emotionally helps me become aware of things that have been in my blind spots. We all have those, right? We all have those personality blind spots or emotional blind spots that we just don't see. And so a lot of times this can be very helpful in shedding a little light on areas that have been dark and that are ready to heal and you're ready to process. Okay, so after you have, and I'm gonna kind of go at this at a couple different angles. After you have an oil identified, then getting your book is huge. And guys, please just invest in a book. Like, this is something that I use daily. I use this more for oil use, even for physical stuff, than I do like a Modern Essentials or any other oil reference book. Because I know that if I take care of the emotions behind the problem, the physical problem, that everything's gonna heal faster. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna look up white fur, and it is the oil of generational healing. And this helps heal generational issues. The negative emotions that it can address are generational or hereditary burdens, codependent behavior, destructive patterns, or hiding. Now, hiding is kind of like hiding from who you are supposed to be, or hiding from being in the light. Positive properties of this oil are generational healing, creating healthy patterns, healthy connections, forging new pathways, and spiritual protection. And so I know that I've been going through a lot of generational healing and breaking a lot of generational patterns that have been passed down. And so I know that that's something that I've been working on. And so it makes perfect sense why I would get white fur. Now, if you read that and you're like, okay, that sounds okay. I can see where that's coming from. A default place for emotional healing is right over the heart. That's kind of my default. I'm going to slap it there because not only is it going over my heart, which is to me my emotion center, it creates your body is now a diffuser. So I'm smelling it. When we're using these for emotional reasons, diffusing or just smelling it is going to yield the best results in most cases. So I can take a drop of my white fur, put it on my hand, rub my hands together, breathe it in, and it smells super good. So a lot of times when you get these oils and you're like, oh, that smells so good, I don't remember it smelling that good, then that means your body's super eager and ready to shift and have that emotional healing. If that oil that you're drawn to stinks, you might not be quite ready to deal with that stuff yet, but it might be beneficial for you to deal with. So it might be a little bit more painful, but be aware of it. Just be an observer. Don't be judgmental of yourself or your experience. Just observe how you feel, how that oil smells to you, and how it makes you feel. And so just breathing it in, sticking it in your diffuser. I actually have a custom blend that when I came back from vacation that I tested for, and I need this for 6 weeks in my diffuser. It smells amazing. But you can do stuff like that and help create some emotional balance. If you are dealing with a specific emotional concern, let's say, so I've got my little notes here. So somebody is looking for confidence, wanting to feel confident. And so I'm going to look in the index of this book. It's got lots of different emotions. And so you can look up confidence. So you can see a little index. It's going to have little oil, different oils listed. So confidence, oils, it has lots of oils to help with confidence. Bergamot, cassia, Roman chamomile, spearmint, lavender, the invigorating blend, patchouli, the outdoor blend, the metabolic blend, and the encouraging blend. And so it has lots of oils. And you're like, oh, Nicole, I don't like, do I need to use all those oils? No, you do not need to use all of those oils. What I would recommend doing is after you have the list of oils that can help with confidence, look at those and see what you need confidence in. Let's take spearmint, for example. Let's say you're having a hard time speaking up and having your voice heard. Then you would read about spearmint, and it's the oil of confident speech. And so applying spearmint to your throat would help you speak confidently. If you're having self-confidence, maybe you're having some low self-esteem issues. This is something that I've really struggled with, but I've really come a long way, baby. Bergamot would be my go-to oil. It helps you feel self-accepting and helps you love yourself. If you are not confident in that God loves you, then rose would be a great oil to choose to feel confident in that respect. And then, of course, you would just use it just like I showed you. Drop on your hand, put some drops in your diffuser, a drop over your heart, and that can help you feel confident. Now, is just putting that oil on going to make you feel like Superwoman all of a sudden? Probably not. But as you put that on, and then if you look in the book, we'll use spearmint as an example. You look in the book and it's got positive properties at the bottom. You're putting your oil on, and we're going to use our words, right? We've talked about the power of words. We've talked about how important and how crucial they are and how much good words can change you for good or for bad. So you're putting your spearmint on. Let's say you're having trouble speaking your truth. So you're putting your spearmint on your throat, and you're going to look at the positive properties. I am confident. I have articulate communication. I have clarity. I am courageous. And so by saying these affirmations as you're applying the oil and repeating them as you feel those negative feelings come in, we're putting positive stuff in to drown the negative out. You can also say, like, I release fear of public speaking. I release being timid. I release holding back my opinions. I release the belief that I am inarticulate. So you can take the negative emotions and release those and then put in the positives. So hopefully that's a nice little trick that you can use with your oils. Let's look. So that's some confidence boosters that we've got going on there. The next one that came up several times was anxiety. And this is something that is a very, very common thing. And I'm going to kind of lump in depression with anxiety because I feel that they are very interconnected. And I'm going to tell you right now, as someone that has dealt with depression all of my life and has dealt with anxiety as well, there are a few key things. It doesn't matter how many oils you use. If you don't have the right nutritional foundation, you're never going to get ahead in your anxiety game or your depression game. So you've got to make sure that your body has the right nutrition, which I mean eating a decent diet and taking high quality supplements and having a good probiotic and good digestive enzymes. That's going to be key to your depression and anxiety being at a manageable level. Now, that being said, there are going to be chemical imbalances. There are going to be some genetic predispositions to depression or anxiety. And that is something that is very normal and something that I think a lot of times we feel like we're a slave, like, oh, I was just born this way. I have to live with this. That's how I felt for years about depression. But as I started supplementing with high quality supplements, as I started being more aware and proactive of taking care of myself, the better I felt. Good morning, Annalie. And so make sure that's part of your self-care, guys, because if you're just going to be using oils for anxiety or depression, you're basically just putting a Band-Aid on something, okay? So that's my little soapbox for a minute. Now let's get back to how oils can be useful in these situations. So what you need to do is find an oil that speaks to you. What helps you feel calm? What are you anxious about? Think about that. And then you can use your little index in the book or go to your oils and muscle test or see which oils are calling out to you and use that. Use that regularly. Put it over your heart. Breathe it in. If you are having anxiety triggered by certain situations, then maybe you need to shield. Maybe you need some On Guard or some Thieves or some other protective blend to help you shield energetically. And we've talked about that in our shielding video, but to shield from having that excess interference. Now, if you are more of an anxious person, be aware of that. Are you an empath? Are you taking on other people's emotions? If you are, you can release those on a nightly basis. I release any absorbed emotions, and just you're going over your head and you're releasing that 3 times. You take a deep breath, and that lets go of anything that isn't yours. If you are feeling anxious, put your oil on, and then you can say, I release anxiety, I release feeling anxious. And that's emotion code. That's what we've talked about in some other videos as well. I'm kind of intermixing some stuff here. But use your tools. Remember what you have. And remember how powerful your words and your beliefs are. You can change them. So if you've identified yourself as an anxious or a depressed person for years, you can change it if you decide you want to change it. It just takes some effort and takes some work on your part. So oils that I like for anxiety: Serenity, Console, Balance. What are some other great ones? Vetiver, cedarwood. Those are all really good at bringing a level of calm into your being. There's a lot of other oils. Seriously, almost any oil out there will probably help you feel calmer if you're anxious. If you are depressed, that is something that you deal with. Oils that I personally like I like to combine frankincense and then any citrus oil. Those really help lift me up and keep me going. Citrus Bliss, Elevation, Cheer. Those are all great oils to help lift you up. And guys, I'm telling, it's not going to be a one-shot wonder. These are not magic silver bullets that you're going to apply these oils once and you're going to be a whole new person. It's something that you need to use consistently. And if you use them preventatively versus in the throes of the chaos and the event that's happening, then it's going to take more. But if you're using it preventatively and you're giving your body what it needs on a regular basis, then those crisis points are going to be a lot less hectic and a lot less severe. So just keep that in mind to try to be proactive and take care of yourself. Even if it's about 3 to 5 minutes on a daily basis, you can do it. You can spend a little time with your oils, you can spend a little time in prayer, and you can spend a little time just taking care of yourself. It doesn't take a long time. Okay, so that's anxiety and depression. Letting go of control. This is another big one that I think that a lot of us, especially us women, deal with, because as moms, we typically have to be controlling quite a bit with our children and our households. And as we get older, we learn, hey, life is better when you release control and let God take over, because he's got a lot better plan for your life than you do. The oil of releasing control is actually cilantro. And this is an oil that, it was funny, for months and months, it kept coming up. I would test for it. I would test for diffuser blends, and it kept coming up. I was like, oh, I probably just need to detox from some heavy metals. And then it was like that little voice in my head was like, Nicole, look at the emotional properties of cilantro. And it was the oil of releasing control. And I was like, oh, that's what you're trying to teach me. And so if you feel like you need to control everything, if you feel like you've got to like have both hands knuckle white on the steering, cilantro can be some great benefit for you. Now, I'm going to tell you that it's cilantro, right? Not the best smelling oil everywhere. We like it when we're eating Mexican food, some of us, but some of us are like, no, thank you. So mixing it in with some diffuser blends can be very beneficial. Some citrus oils work great with cilantro, and you can kind of mask it in there, but it really is effective. I would like to, if you don't like the smell, either diffusing or over your heart, put on the bottoms of your feet. And I promise you, over time, it will help you be able to release that control. But you need to be mindful of it as well. Say, I'm releasing control. I don't have control over this. I'm letting go. Saying those words along with the essential oil use can be very powerful. So that's a great way to help you release control. Overwhelm was another one that came up. And my favorite oil for overwhelm is Whisper. And this is my personal favorite. I don't know, I haven't actually looked up overwhelm, but whenever I'm feeling very overwhelmed, that's what I always test for. Let me see what overwhelm here in the book says. So overwhelmed, oils that can help are basil, a massage blend, a tension blend, a digestive blend, tangerine, melissa, red mandarin, or a restful blend. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, again, take a step back. Yes, overwhelm might be the general emotion, but what is causing that overwhelm? Are you overwhelmed with responsibilities? Are you overwhelmed with chaos? Are you overwhelmed with a to-do list? Are you overwhelmed with emotions? What is the overwhelm? And then you can kind of whittle it down from there to what oil would be the best one for you personally to use when you are feeling overwhelmed. And again, when I'm overwhelmed, I like to stick it in the diffuser and stick it over my heart and just let myself chill out a little bit and just take that 2 to 3 minutes, do some deep breathing and just say a little prayer. Please help me to be able to manage what's in front of me, or help me to process what I'm dealing with. Whatever is going on that's causing that overwhelm, I just say a little prayer to ask for that help and guidance on the next step for me to take. Because I don't know about you guys, but I have an ADD brain. And when I'm overwhelmed, I tend to shut down and not do anything. And I know that that's not effective, but that's my natural go-to. And so if that's your natural go-to, recognize that and stop yourself and be able to ask for that help. Because God will help you, I promise, with that next step. You don't need to know every step. You just need to know the next step. And once you take that step, then you can ask for the next step. And you can, from there, and use your oils as you're doing this. So have them go in the diffuser, have them over your heart, and go through that process. And I promise you, you will get better at it, and you will learn how to manage better so that you don't experience that overwhelm as often. Okay, what else do we have? Wanting a do-over. I thought this was a really cool one. And this is something that I think a lot of us, especially the more we learn, we're like, oh, I wish I would have known that 10 years ago, or I wish I would have known that when my kids were little, or I wish I would have, and I wish I would have, or I wish whatever. We wish it away, right? Or what if I would have done this when my kids were 5 instead of 25? Or what if I would have known this when I was 20 instead of 40? We have those kind of regrets. And when that is feeling, I will tell you right now, this isn't an oil, this is a tapping thing that right here, your bra strap, sorry, that's like a crazy flowy sleep, but right there, that bra strap tapping point, tapping that spot is the best spot for regrets. So if you're like, I wish I would have, so talk about that. So like, I wish I would have had essential oils when my kids were younger. They wouldn't have been on so many medications, and I wouldn't have to help them detox so much and whatever. I'm just making stuff up. And as you tap about that and talk about it, and then just make sure you finish with, even though I feel this way, I love and accept myself completely. That sleeve is not very helpful but as you tap this spot, that's your regret spot. That's your, you're beating yourself up for not knowing what you know now then. Because you didn't know it then. You did the best you could then, right? And so that's a good spot. Now, emotionally with oils, if you've got regrets, I think that's probably the best word I can think of to go with that what if, or if I want to do over. So copaiba and Siberian fir are both really good oils for feeling regretful, or I wish I would have, or I want to do a do-over. And just giving yourself permission and grace that you did the best you could with what you had at the time and the knowledge you had at the time. And now that you know better, you can do different and you can do better, but not beating yourself up for what happened in the past. So that's hopefully helpful for that issue. Okay, we've got 2 more. Fear. So fear is a huge thing for a lot of people, and fear can be a lot of different monsters. For fear, and if you go in here, like there's a ton of oils for fearful. So juniper berry is good for fearful, especially fear in the night. Cassia is if you're feeling like you're really shy and you have a fear of being seen and kind of being known. Cinnamon is fearful if you're having fearful, especially in your sexual health or body image. Cinnamon is very appropriate there. Birch, cypress, lavender, myrrh, spikenard, peppermint, the soothing blend, cumin, and a reassuring blend. So there's lots of different oils for fearful. I would, if you are dealing with any kind of fear, I would encourage you to kind of boil that fear down a little bit. What actually are you being fearful of? What is holding you back? What lie is the devil telling you to stop you from progressing? And if this is with your kids, same issue, okay? Because I think whoever posted about fear was saying it was with their kids. Help them children are very sensitive to shifts in the energy. They're very sensitive to that. Whether they recognize it or not, they probably don't because they don't have the right vocabulary to identify that. But being mindful and helping them identify what they're actually scared of can be very, very empowering to help them have a shift of perspective and help them step back and say, okay, now why would fear being placed in me? Because fear is a liar, guys. Fear really is a liar, and it's usually whatever you're scared of is what you're actually, the opposite is what is true. So just explore that a little bit and figure out what that fear is stemming from. And then you can use the oils appropriately to either diffuse or put over the heart, especially for fear or self-confidence. The solar plexus, which is right under your rib cage, right there at the end of your sternum, that's your solar plexus. That is connected to your self-worth and self-confidence. And if you can apply the oils there, then especially with fear or self-confidence issues, it's a very, very powerful spot. So that could be a better spot for you possibly than your heart. And then the next thing is meltdowns. Kids just get meltdowns. They get overwhelmed from they're very sensitive to interference. So if you've got a lot of EMFs going on, if you've got a lot of emotional energy going on, they're going to be sensitive to it. And so helping your kids know how to shield. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, Brenda. Helping your kids know how to shield, helping them know how to use their oils is incredibly empowering. My 9-year-old daughter is super strong empath. She really feels those changes, and it's very, very, we had a few rough a year or two with her, but now she knows how to muscle test for what bracelet she needs, and she will put it on, and she's very confident, and she feels empowered because she knows she can go to her bracelets, she knows she can say a prayer, she knows she can put on oils and feel better. And so helping your kids feel that, those meltdowns are going to be less. That being said, kids are kids. They're going to get tired. They're going to have meltdowns. So having some peaceful oils going in your house, especially if you have those witching hours in your house, that you know that everyone's going to go a little bat crazy. Put some balance, put some wild orange, put some serenity in the diffuser, get it going, and help everybody chill the heck out. Because if you're chilled out, guess what? You're going to be a lot less angry parent. And the meltdowns is going to be, sorry kids, sorry you're dealing with that, instead of the meltdown triggering you and making you into a mommy or daddy monster, because that's not any fun. So guys, use your oils. It's not rocket science. Put them over your heart, put them over your solar plexus, put them in your diffuser, breathe them in, and just do it regularly. Be aware and check in daily, and usually multiple times a day, because our emotions shift throughout the day. And use these tools because they are powerful. They will create emotional shifts. They will create emotional detoxification, and they will bring stuff up that maybe you're not ready to deal with, but you can work through it. You are learning these tools, you are learning these techniques so that you can go through and you can help yourself heal and be in more balance. So hopefully this has been helpful, and we'll be talking some more about different oils and different ideas for helping some emotional support throughout this week. I hope you guys have a great, great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.